My name is Ryan, and I organize Speedy Goat Motorsports Club. We host a time trial series at Mission Raceway and Vancouver Island Motorsports Club. It's kind of a fun way to get out and play with your car and kind of do race car or sports car things with sports car friends. It's a great way to find the limit of your car or help kind of build your car over the season and just come out and have a fun time. So I first got started into cars what I'd consider a little bit late. It was actually my 4th or 5th year in university. I actually started the UBC Sports Car Club, and they put on autocross events, and I kind of just bought a Miata, never come out before, never done anything silly other than street things. And a friend said, "Hey, I'm going to an autocross event. Can I, why don't you come along?" Okay, so I signed up and showed up, and wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, and I very quickly realized I have so much to learn. But about the next year, I was helping organize autocross days with the UBC Sports Car Club, as well as their track days in the summer. I've done that for a number of years, kind of been with a number of the local groups. I got into track days. Autocross is also a lot of fun. One's kind of like a sprint, the other one's kind of like more of a marathon or a longer race. So after doing autocross and track days with the Miata for many years, and that kind of evolved and got faster and faster and faster, a big priority for track events or any motorsports events is actually safety. So I actually recently picked up a BMW 1 Series because it has a roof and has been designed in the 21st century for crash test ratings. I love the Miata, but it's still a 1990s Japanese car with crumple zone is not a discussion point until after the fact. So I've recently picked up a 1 Series, a 128 naturally aspirated fun track car. It's completely stock right now, and so I'm looking forward this year to kind of tweaking things and see how my time progresses through the time trial series. And that's kind of part of the fun of time trials. You're not really racing to set records. Some people are, but most people come out to set their own fastest lap. And so you kind of, do a sway bar and then see how much that affects your lap time. Come out to another event. So I'm kind of looking pretty excited to see how the car develops this season. What other fives? Oh, I also, the car, I see. So I also have a daily driver 5 Series. I picked it up for very, very little. Like every BMW, it was in shambles and couldn't be driven because there's a big puddle of both coolant and oil were below it, so you had a lovely slurry. But otherwise, the car had been well loved. So I worked on that for a couple months, and now I daily drive a 535. It's got the N54, which is a lot of fun. I haven't tuned it yet, but I want to, but everyone tells me don't race it daily. But again, here I am, taking it for a couple laps. It's a lot of fun, and as long as you kind of drive 6-7 tenths, it's a lot of fun. You can always race the daily, even though you shouldn't. You still should, just a little bit. Just make sure you have the track car, or swap the pads out at least. Just swap the brake pads and change your fluids, and then bring it out. Or just be very gentle on your car. And that's actually kind of what sold me on time trials to begin with. So instead of a 20-minute open lapping session on the track, time trials is a 3-lap format. So your car doesn't get as hot. You can actually run 3 laps with most street cars. So that's kind of what really got me addicted with time trials, is that the cars I could afford would make it 3 laps. They wouldn't make it 20 minutes straight. Yeah, so what's coming on the horizon? So this summer we have a 7-event time trial series at 2 tracks, as well as 1 lapping day at Area 27. If you haven't gone, it's an awesome track. I think their slogan is it's a track you can't master in 1 day. So it kind of gets addicting and you want to go back. There's a lot of good challenges. There's one turn, you're kind of doing a right-hander, foot to the floor at about 140 kilometers an hour, and it gets addicting. Everything else kind of disappears in your mind. So Area 27, we have a lapping day there, 7-event series. 2 on the island, 5 here at Mission. We've got a lot of locals that love Mission Raceway, as well as we kind of have a little bit of autocross and ice events in the winter, which is a lot of fun. If you haven't done ice events, they're also one of those drop everything and come out to Barnes Lake. It is unbelievably addicting. That one is definitely, you can bring the daily, unless it's a truck. Don't bring the truck, unless you lower the truck. Find a car for $500 with a friend, come out to Barnes Lake. Otherwise, in the summer we focus on time trials, 7 events. You only need to be, I think it's four events for the series to be eligible for points. Obviously, the more you do, the more likely you are to get higher in the point standing. But that only need to worry about that in your 2nd or 3rd year of time trials. Your 1st year out, come out, enjoy the people, enjoy the car, and see what we can do in a three hot laps. The other cool thing we do is during the winter season, we also host a slush series. So it's autocross events. It's kind of a sprint, so it's kind of like a 100-meter dash as opposed to a 5K run. Realistically, you can bring any car that's well maintained as long as you're not leaking fluids. You leave the line, put it in 2nd, don't worry about it, and then drive flat out. It's a great way to come out, you hang out with a bunch of people, you drive part of the day, you volunteer part of the day, and the rest of the day you can eat and talk to people. Super friendly for passengers to come in and sit in vehicles, so you get to meet a lot of people, as well as you can talk to some of the more seasoned people who have been out doing it for quite a while. You can kind of see how they're doing it and learn that way. It's also a very cheap alternative. There's a lot less wear and tear on your car. Entry is about $60-70. Super easy, come out for a day, and great way to meet a bunch of cool people as well. Yeah. So if you're addicted and you're like, hey, I want to go drive my car with other driving car friends, you can find out more, find a schedule for both time trials and autocross, as well as anything other cool things that we're trying to do. Speedygoat.ca. It'll show you event registration links from there. We use another website called Motorsport Reg, and that helps collect your car information and payment so that you're good to go on the day. All you have to do is show up, have a nice new helmet, make sure your car is maintained. Simple as that, really. If you show up with a well-maintained car and a helmet, we'll pretty much get you on track as long as you get the right attitude. See you at the track.